Welcome to the Rusty Hook Kayak Fishing Podcast, bringing you fishing tips, gear reviews, tournament news, and more. Featured guests from all over the nation. Now, 1 hour of live streaming via Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. Here's your host, John Rapp. Hey guys, welcome to Season 2, Episode 19 of the Rusty Hook Kayak Fishing Podcast. Today's Tuesday, April 19th, 2020. Thank you, Johnny Cart, for sharing and liking the show. Looks like we got 4 viewers on at the moment, up to 5, rocking and rolling. So running solo tonight, but I have a really good little lineup for you. And we are going to talk about tournament news, tournament updates, and, you know, one of the things that a lot of us do, I know us guys here and gals in West Virginia, is that when we travel, we camp. So I wanted to talk about that a little bit, and I've got the camp guru, Mr. WVU sponsor, and our sponsor that we just visited a week and a half ago, Joe Sterrett's going to come on the show tonight. So then I've got Miss Susie Q, Susie Roloff up in Illinois. She's going to come on, talk about her tournament victory over in the Graby tournament series that she's involved in. I know Susie through Paddle and Fin. Outstanding lady. She is our tournament director with the Paddle and Fin Network. She is like the glue that holds everything together for those guys. She does all the stuff in the background, spreadsheets, handles the kayak fishing, fantasy fishing stuff. So we're going to have her to come on and talk. And then I've got Rick Garvalia in the background. I'm going to come in and give some tips and tricks on packing and getting your stuff and your gear together so when you do make an overnight trip. May do a few calls. I may even call you, Johnny Cart, but you never know, just something may happen. So while I was down in Tennessee and me and Brian were sitting around talking a little bit when I had him over to the side, we were talking about getting these episodes that you guys get to watch here that stream live on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook. So anybody that's out there that's watching and listening, you can go and look for on YouTube Camo Ninja WV. That's my YouTube page. Then of course right here where we're at streaming live, the main platform is the Rusty Hook page that everybody normally hangs out on and shoots messages to. And then we have a page on Twitch. So hey, guys, gals, Chad Hoover from KBF just started a Twitch page, so go like that. And I also believe that Nicholas Beltran has a Twitch page. He's a frequent contributor to our group here. So you know, if you have a Twitch account, just go over and like those pages or follow along. Help get those guys started. And my Twitch is WV Rap, West Virginia Rap. So you can find us there. Normally the last 2 episodes from this show are located on Twitch. So, but getting back to what me and Brian were talking about is this is a talk show that has a visual element, a streaming element that we do here. And so I got with Brian, and he told me how to do it. He set it up for me. And now we have a Rusty Hook Kayak Fishing Podcast set up on Anchor FM. Now that's where I set up at. Any podcast platform, if you have an Apple iPhone, just go up into your utilities and find your iPod and search Rusty Hook Kayak Fishing Podcast, or search John/Rap, and you should be able to find it. And so what I did, I went out and fished a little bit Saturday. And if you guys did any fishing Saturday, God bless you, because man, that wind was awesome. I mean, it was. I couldn't do any fishing where I was fishing at. It was blowing me around. I fished for 3 hours. I didn't have any bites, and I was fishing brush and woods. I only saw one fish on the bank, so they haven't even moved up yet. And in West Virginia, guys, how you got to love our view that we had this morning as we went out of the house to go to work with an inch of snow on the ground. I mean, Nicholas County, Fayette County, it's terrible. When I got into Raleigh County to the courthouse this morning, they had a dusting, but we had about an inch of snow in our area over here on Mount Nebo. So, but anyway, yeah. So if you look at this, guys, Rusty Hook Kayaking Podcast, we've already have 34 plays. What I did Sunday, I knew it was bad, and we'll go fishing in the wind again. I took all of our episodes that we have here that we've been streaming on the page. I went back and I downloaded them. They're downloaded as MP4, cross-checked them using Audacity and made MP3s, and then I uploaded all the shows, all the Tuesday shows. I didn't upload the shows at East Tennessee or the ones at Feel Free headquarters, or down at the Eastport Marina. But we've already had 34 plays from 15 unique listeners, which basically it tracks your IP address to see what kind of player you're using, and also shows you where they're coming from. So like if you have an Apple podcast player, 50% of the plays are coming for an Apple device using Apple Podcasts. So check that out, and I hope you guys will go on there and look it up. If you wanna, just what I'd like to see is this number right here change. Estimated audience is 2, and that's just basically where I've subscribed and maybe someone else has, like probably Brian Schiller, where he set it up. So go onto your accounts, your podcast accounts. If you do like me in the morning and you drive 45 minutes to work, I've been listening to these to see how, I listened to the first and second episode to see how they sound on an audio version. I was quite pleased with the audio from our podcast, our streams with me, Chris, and all the guests that we've had using Discord. Tonight, when I call our guests, I'm actually just going to use Facebook Messenger. Chris isn't going to be on tonight. He's got some stuff going on at the house. And there's Brian. Hey, Brian. You're my boy. I was telling him about how you helped me set this up. If you look at that, man, we've already got 34 people that are showing up in here as plays. I'm sure that's been a couple from you checking out the sound quality and stuff, but it's coming along, and I want to thank you for helping me get set up. So, but anyway, share the show, leave a comment. There's Rick and Brian. They've done that. They've liked it. As you can see, it pops up on the screen. Audio you hear in the background. Big John from Florida. That audio sound, guys, is someone liking this show. So we got 4 viewers right now, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to reach out and see if I can get a hold of Joe Sterrett. So let's do this. Before I do that, I do want to do this. What you're looking at right here is Joe's store from the inside. This is so cool. And I'm actually on the Mountaineer.rv.com website. And this is, go check out these guys. These are one of our primary platinum gold sponsors for WVK. They just were the host for our Stonewall Stone Cold event 10 days ago. Joe and Gina, they went and they fixed pulled pork, coleslaw. They had brown beans and potato salad for all the guys that came after fishing that event. And as we talked last week and weeks prior, I mean, that was one of the coldest, nastiest events we'd ever fished. And, you only had like 33 fish submitted out of 67 guys. So it was nasty. But this is their store, man. This is pretty cool. This is a 3D layout that they've set up on their website so you can go in and look. As you can tell, he's got a huge warehouse, a bunch of campers here, and he's going to come on later and talk to us about setting stuff up. But I want you to zoom back here. This is so cool, man. Joe, I mean, you definitely provide your customers that are not able to just come straight into the store with the ability to come right in and look at your stuff. I mean, look at this. This is so sweet. Welcome to Mountaineer Rv. And as you keep going to the back wall, when you're looking at his big banner sign, boom, you're getting into the kayaks, man. So Joe is one of our largest feel-free three-water Seastream and Johnny Boat dealer in the state. Probably sells the most boats in the state, on top of the other group. But I mean, beautiful, beautiful warehouse. So let's get Joe on and let's talk about camping accessories and stuff like that. Oh wait, I'm sorry, I'm calling Emma. Sorry, Emma. Don't disregard that. Emma's Joe's daughter, who's been working with me. There we go. On a new logo. She's actually doing. I've commissioned her to go in and fix my logo. Nothing wrong with it. I just wanted to have kayak fishing podcast in one word and Rusty Hook. She's going to redo that for me, and she's a marketing major. Hey, Joe Sterrett. Hey, buddy, do me a favor and turn your phone landscape for me so I can feel your beautifulness up in my screen. And of course, everybody's going to be able to look at all those beautiful mounts that you've got, all those stories that we can tell.
Yeah.
So, hey, man. So before you came on the show, I don't know if you were able to peek and watch. I took everybody through your store using that beautiful 3D mode that you have on your website, man. That is so cool.
That is very cool.
That's bad, man. So, like we were talking pre-show, and I'm camping this year, and I bought me a little camper. And you, being our largest and best dealer in the state, Mountaineer Rv and Outdoor Center in Jane Lou, West Virginia. So, I know you just came back from a camping trip. Been gone for a week, and I'm sure you took kayaks and all kinds of outdoor gear and seats and cushions and carpets to make your living outside a little bit nicer, so you didn't track everything bad inside. And I'm looking for insight on that because I've got a little 16-foot toy hauler that I'm going to be pulling my stuff in. My space is tight. Once I put my kayaks inside that toy hauler, I'm looking for insight on how I can pack some other stuff in there. What do you offer, or what do you have insight-wise to help us there?
So in the store, I mean, if you did the 3D tour, that's pretty cool. That's a pretty cool aspect we can put on the website. And somebody a couple hours away, they can tour the store, look around. But yeah, the old adage of taking everything but the kitchen sink when you go camping. There's a fine line between camping and glamping.
Yes.
So, this past week we was at Stonewall, and a lot of people, I tell a lot of people, listen, I live this lifestyle. I camp together as a family. We love it. We have several weeks reserved this week at a couple different campgrounds, or this year at a couple different campgrounds. But inside the camper, the space is very important, but the outdoor experience is what is important. I mean, we sell a couple different outdoor chairs, number one being the Kuma chair. Most comfortable chair you'll ever sit in. You have double recliners. You have a single bear chair. Tables. You got to set up your outdoor experience just the same as you do the indoor. Because really, when it comes down to it, a camper, you sleep in a camper, and you may hang out when it rains. But who wants to sit in a camper all day long? You just need the camper to get you where you're going, and then you take it from there.
Outdoor experiences. So it's my understanding that you are quite a character when it comes to outdoor experiences. So let me ask you a couple questions here, my friend.
All right.
So, can you tell me a story about the Honking Camper?
Yeah. So the Honking Camper, he's pretty famous at just about every campground that I do visit. Um, I am who I am. I turn into a big kid. I'll grab any kid that wants to go with me, and I'll tell them right off, I saw the Honking Camper. We are dodging in and out of vehicles. We're looking for him. It's dark. You got to do this when it's dark. Usually end up at my truck, and I mean, we're in between campers. We're in between vehicles. I may have 6, I may have 15 kids with me. And at the very end, we will dodge in front of my truck, and I have my key fob in my pocket, and I will set the car alarm off. And just about every kid in there freaks out. Some of them are now scared of the dark to walk in the campground. But yes, it's you can ask around. I mean, obviously we've been camping as a family. My daughter's 18 years old. All of her friends have done the Honking Camper. All of my son's friends have done the Honking Camper. So
excellent.
Yeah,
that's excellent, man. I heard that story, and I also heard another story, Joe. That
what's that?
That not only are you good about keeping your kids entertained in the evenings, but you've also entertained the whole campground at one time or another by setting up a nice, wet, slicky slide somewhere, which about got you ejected from the campground. Why don't you tell us that story?
Yeah, so it was July 4th. The campground is packed. It's beautiful weather. If anybody's been to Stonewall Jackson, site number 10, there's a bank that goes down, and we call it the Peninsula. And people go there to watch the fireworks. So our previous business, we was in the oil and gas, so I took a plastic pit liner. So we literally had about 200 foot of slip and slide. We go to town. We buy out all the Dawn dishwashing liquid that we could find. We literally had 30 gallons of Dawn dishwashing liquid. So, yeah, I mean, we had a couple water hoses going, and eventually every kid and adults was on this slip and slide. So, I thought it was pretty harmless. We're having fun. Well, guess what? Here comes security. They kind of reminded me of this little thing about insurance, and they said, shut her down. And I said, you know what? You go down there and you tell every 71 of those kids, you tell them you're going to shut it down. And they're like, you want to leave? And I'm like, okay, I'll shut it down. So,
Yep.
So yeah, we listen, we do like to have fun at the campsite. So,
and that's the whole part of this show is to talk about, taking things and making as you started this segment off, making your outdoor experience just as nice as you can and as fun as you can. And obviously, you, my friend, are the star of the show when we go camping somewhere. You got told on, and so when we go camping somewhere, I know you're going to be providing some entertainment.
We can do it. We can do it. Always got something up my sleeve.
So yeah, the store and the products that you sell and the things that can help people pack a little bit better organized. Do you have anything other than just somebody going to Walmart and buying those totes? Do you guys have anything that help people roll stuff up like carpets and store them like in bags and stuff?
So we do have all the we have the stuff that you won't find in the big chain stores. There is so-called specialty items, and we go through 4 or 5 different distributors. And the good thing about it is, like I said, I live this lifestyle. So I've tent camped. Let me just tell you this: growing up, I never stayed in a hotel room until I was 22 years old. Every vacation my mom and dad we went on, we camped. So I get with, I married a big city girl of Weston, never camped before in her life. So we tent camped. We was able to buy our first hard shell camper, so we've camped always at a family. So as the years progress, we know what we need, and that's what I'm providing to the customers. Yes, we have the specialty items, to make it more pleasurable. You're actually taking your belongings, going for a weekend or a week. You don't want to be without. That can make your trip a little bit miserable sometimes. So it's the tight stuff that rolls up, the space savers, the pop-up trash cans. Some campers, where are you going to put a trash can at?
Right.
Well, there's a pop-up trash can, that you can collapse down, Velcro together. That's the stuff that, and that's what we call the fun stuff in the store. Obviously, if you did the 3D tour, you see the parts and accessories. Unfortunately, yes, we all have to work on campers.
I gotta say, I didn't do a real good 3D tour, but I started from the desk by your campers, and I took them real quick back to that beautiful section of that wall of all those beautiful kayaks, and I'll go back here as soon as we get off, and I'll go back and I want to show them the upper level where you have all your different seatings. On that one above your offices on the one side, away from, I guess your side.
The displays.
Displays, yeah, and we're on. It also has all the coolers over there along the wall. But yeah, I believe, and I told everybody the site, so the 5 viewers that are on here and the others that may have been on and come watch later or listen, they can go to the website and watch it themselves. Hopefully, we can get a few people in there to look at some of them kayaks and your gear. I know I need to bring mine up. I talked to you about there last week and get my lights looked at on my canopy that rolls out, those little lights.
LED strip you're talking about.
But I figured that's just probably just a fuse or a switch where I'm illiterate when it comes to that kind of stuff.
That's what the service department is there for. So.
But hey, also shout out to you and thank you and Gina for what you guys did 10 days ago for sponsoring the WVK event and hosting us at your shop. And man, that potato salad, brown beans, and that pulled pork was off the hook. So thank you for that.
Yeah, John, let me just say something there real fast. So a couple of years ago, I took up kayak fishing. I was not a bass fisherman. I lived on a trout stream all my life. But there was a different experience being in a kayak bass fishing, so I really fell in love with it, So, back when you was doing WVKA, I saw it on Facebook and I said, hey, Gina, I'm going to fish a tournament, and she's like, what? You're going to bass fish, So anyways, I really fell in love with the sport, and I know, there's other clubs in West Virginia, and I know most of the guys. It's just, I did stick with WVKA. I have fished with Jason Plumley, and those guys and everything. I've fished with Mountain State, but, I'm definitely not saying one is better than the other, but I chose to stick with WVKA. We come on as a platinum sponsor, and, I love the sport. I love the guys. I love the gals. So, it's I live outdoors. You can see behind me, so I'm an outdoors guy. So it was just something fun. I am very competitive. If me and you are going to walk to the end of the street, guess what? I'm going to beat you. So, I don't win every kayak tournament, obviously. You can tell from last Saturday, but I am a very competitive person. So,
well, the kayak fishing competitiveness is more about us against the fish. And
exactly.
that day, the fish won.
Yeah, the elements won.
Yes, definitely. So, hey, I appreciate you jumping on, man. Thank you again. I think we'll take a quick break, and then I'm going to reach out to a friend of ours from Illinois, another female angler who just won an event up there, Susie Roloff. But just want to let you know, from day one, as Rick or as Joe was talking about here a little bit ago, from day one when he was at our very first West Virginia Kayak Anglers event, we roll in. We set up a beautiful display. Me, Brandon Walmsley, LJ, we're all working on the stuff to hand out and all the goodies because Steve Gunner helped us out and we had shirts to give away, everything. And we're like, man, that barbecue pit is awful. You know, look at that. How are we going to cook hamburgers on that? And Joe's like, hey, man, I just live down the road. My dad's down the road and we got a big, huge barbecue thing. I'll just go get that and bring it. We'll cook the burgers here. So from day one, man, not only have you were a sponsor and a contributor before you even fished your first tournament. So God bless you and thank you, buddy.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Enjoyed.
So, and tell Emma, thanks for the info.
Oh God, yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, there we go.
Sorry, Emma. I didn't mean to dime you out, honey. But as a matter of fact,
a mole in every track.
She's like, before I was calling you, I actually hit the wrong button and started calling her, and I'm like, oh no, I'm not calling Joe, I'm calling Emma. Sorry, Emma. So when you rewatch the show, you get a giggle there, man. So, but hey, I appreciate you. Thank you again.
Okay. Yep. Thank you.
All right, guys. So that was Joe Sterrett from Mountaineer RV. Appreciate him coming on, helping us out tonight. He's a total package. But we're going to take a quick break, and then I'm going to dial up Miss Susie Roloff.
Paint Outdoors, Straight Talk, an outdoor product analyst and custom soft plastic maker. Check out our reviews and products at our website, paintoutdoors.com.
Feel Free Kayaks, something for everyone. Pedal, paddle, or power, we can outfit you to meet your needs. For more information, visit feelfreeus.com.
Yak Gadget offers all kinds of kayak accessories such as motor mounts, anchor systems, and other track-based items to make your time more enjoyable on the water. Visit their Facebook page, search Yak Gadget.
Guggen Brothers Custom Tackle specializes in jigs and Ned-style lures. Brothers who know what it takes to put fish in the boat. Check out their Facebook page, search Guggen Brothers Custom Tackle. All right, we're back. Hey, 28 minutes into the show, we got 6 viewers. I appreciate you guys chilling with us. So I saw Susie just liked the show, so good deal. I ain't got my Mikey Holcomb, 10 other people out there. Hey, let me go up and pull up real quick and see who all's making any comments I need to look at. Kyle Struther, you in the house too, my friend. Johnny Card, may give you a call, Johnny. You stand by. We got 8 viewers kicking up here now. So today, April 19th, 2022, let's rewind to 8 years ago. 8 years ago. That's when it all started for the Raps. This young lady, Beth, a woman, her very first kayak fishing tournament with the Mountain State Kayak Anglers, took home the win. And word got back to Feel Free headquarters that she was the victory riding out of a Moken. And look at all that right there. And look at it zooming in. That's cash in her hand, just was handed to her. Look at all the jealous guys looking at her. She's collecting that cash. But collecting that cash at that event, she won the big bass pool. And so we do have ladies that are competitive and who win. And so what I'm going to do now, 8 years ago, me and the beautiful wife started kayak fishing. Then she wasn't my wife. She was just my beautiful girlfriend. And I had to fight guys off to keep her. I got lucky. I outkicked my punt coverage just like Mikey Holcomb has done, just like Buddy Vance has done, Kyle Struther, Stormy Carver. His punt is in the air, It's about to be received. Possibly it may go over. I'm pretty sure he kicked it out of the end zone because he's getting ready to be a lucky man here soon, getting married. So congratulations, Stormy. But Susie, we're going to call you, honey, and I want to hear about your victory. Oh, yeah. Making that phone call. Whoa! Woo! Susie Q in the house!
What's up?
Oh, man. We live, raw, and unfiltered here on the Rusty Hook Kayak Fishing Podcast. So, ladies and gents, and the 7 viewers that we've got watching right now on the live stream here on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, we have Susie Roloff. Okay, now, when you go check out Susie's Facebook page, you're going to see team this, team that, East team this, team there, team... Lady has sponsors. Lady has a resume. Lady is the glue of the Paddle and Fin podcast network. Everything that goes on Paddle and Fin. Brian Schiller may be the pretty boy and the podfather, but behind every good man, there is this woman right here in the kayak fishing paddle and fin world. But that's not why we're here, Susie. That's not why I called you. I reached out to you because, just like I mentioned a few minutes before you came on, 8 years ago today was my very first kayak fishing tournament with my now wife, Beth, who went in there and whooped all of our rear ends and took home the first place trophy and the big bass money. And it looks like you put the spank down recently up in your neck of the woods. So, for the people that are watching here, would you give us a rundown of what you fish out of, who you're sponsored by, what do you use, and what made you successful on your tournament this past weekend?
Awesome. Yeah. So behind me here, you can kind of sort of see it, but I've got a Hobie 360 Pro Angler 12. My dealer is Quest Water Sports out of Ottawa, Illinois. I also have a sponsor with Kistler Rods, She Angler Customs, Catch, Dakota Lithium, Bassett Baits, which is a local guy out of Rockford. Tim Hamilton is his name. And let's see here. I got to look at everything to make sure I got everything covered. Of course, Paddle and Fin. I mean, I don't know if I really call them like a sponsor, but, because like I kind of help, keep everything together. With
them. They sponsor you, all right.
Right. But yeah, I help them out with everything too. So, this past weekend was the championship for last year's Illinois Derby Trail. If you guys don't know what Derby is, it's grassroots yak bassin. If I got that right.
I couldn't figure that out. I was thinking it was the Green Bay kayak fishing anglers or something. I didn't know exactly what it was.
Yep. So, I competed in their trail series last year and did pretty well and qualified for this championship. It was on Otter Lake outside Palmyra, Illinois. And the weather we had was, it was cold. Not going to lie. It was pretty cold. So temperatures were roughly in like the low 50s to start out in the morning. Then they'd warm up. I think the highest I saw was like 56, 57, especially in the shallower water. But I drove down, Thursday after work and stayed in an Airbnb with a couple of folks. Helps with expenses and all that other fun stuff.
Oh, definitely.
And it's always a good time hanging out, with the guys and everything, talking fishing and everything. And, some people are always just like, but you're hanging out with a bunch of dudes. And I'm like, yeah, so what's your point? We're talking fishing. We're having fun. We're having good stories and everything. And so Friday I pre-fished, and that was like the warmest day out of the whole weekend. And during pre-fishing, I didn't do good at all. Like I caught like one small short fish on a crankbait, and so I was like, well, okay, they kind of want a little bit of action. So, but I knew that the weather was going to get colder the next few days. So, the first day going in, I was just like, I'm just out here kind of having fun. This isn't like, a real serious thing. And I was just like, I'm just going to kind of go with my gut this time. And, for as stained as the water is, it's usually kind of like a stained color. You could see maybe a foot down. And the further north you went, the murkier it got. But, I had been on that lake 3 years ago. In the there was a loud thud outside. I don't know what that was. And
that was Adam hearing the replay back there saying you went somewhere with a bunch of men.
Yeah. Let's see here. So I'd actually been out there 3 years ago for another championship tournament, but it was actually in the late summer, so totally different time of year, totally different conditions and everything. And I had actually gotten my thumb sliced open pretty good by a muskie at that time too, so I wasn't really particularly fond of this lake.
I hear you.
But I was like, okay, I'm just gonna try to do what I can. And my main goal on day one was just to cover water, and historically I haven't really been that much of a power fisherman in a sense. Usually I'll get to a spot, I'll kind of work it for a while and then just kind of pitter patter around. But, I was just like, I think I just got to cover water. I think that's what I'm going to have to do.
Is that how it worked out for you?
That is, yeah, pretty much. And so day one, like I put on a chatterbait and I just like was winding and grinding the whole day. So I changed a little bit here and there. Oh, yep, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, what was so you were throwing a chatterbait. Were you throwing it back into shallow water and dragging it off? Were you letting it drop to the bottom? How was you working that?
So I was throwing it really close to shore, and a good majority of the shoreline was kind of like a rocky shore. They have like a lot of rocks built up to help with erosion and whatnot. And there'd be some little backwater behind them, but nothing where fish could go. Right. So I would throw it literally like right up to the shoreline, to the rock line in a sense, and then I would just work parallel with the shore.
Okay.
And most of the time where I'd get hit would be maybe like half a foot off of the rocks is where I usually get hit. But and to be more specific, they had to be rocks that had grass growing coming up, just not too far out from them as well, because after my third bite, I finally started like realizing, where they were hitting and why they were hitting. Because like the first hit, I was just kind of like, okay, maybe I just got lucky, or there was just one sitting there. Then I got a second one. I was like, okay, I'm going to start looking around and see what's different about this spot. Is it the same as the last spot? That type of thing. And then the third one, I was looking for rocks and grass as well, because there were some spots where you could kind of see it coming up a little bit. It's not really it wasn't really like grass, but it was like, I don't exactly know the type of species of plant that it was, but it had a really thick stem to it. And if you got your chatterbait stuck on it, you had to like literally take your paddle and like shove it off of there because it had a super thick stem.
Huh.
So that was a lot of fun too. Yeah, I lost about 3 jackhammers this past weekend too.
Oh,
so that was great.
Oh, that hurts.
It does, but what the wind from it though definitely made up for it. But awesome. Yeah, anyway, so yeah, I was just, I was throwing a 3/8 ounce jackhammer. I had a Kitech tail on there, but what I do is just, I'll cut the end of the tail off so that the paddle isn't on there anymore, because if you leave the paddle on, I think, usually in the springtime, I think it's got a little too much of a kick back there to where it's just not quite natural in a sense. And I was fishing it with the paddle at first. And then, like, as soon as I cut the paddle off, then that's when I started getting bit. So I was like, okay, I know what they want.
Gotcha.
And so, yeah, I probably had about 9 or 10 bites on day one. I missed I think about 2, but I landed 6 fish total because my last fish was definitely an upgrade. And the last 2 fish that I got were the 19 plus. So yeah, I had a 19 and 19 and a half. So and they were fat.
Gotta love that.
Yes, it was great.
Largemouth or smallmouth?
They were all largemouth.
Okay.
Yep. And so, so like after getting that second big fish, I tried working to try and find other fish, but like after 10:30, like I didn't have another single bite. So, I knew that it was going to be a short window. And so then towards the end of the day, I was looking at the standings and I saw like how big of a lead I had. And I was like, holy crap.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, this is kind of awesome right now.
So day two. Day 2?
Yeah, so day 2, it was a lot colder. There was supposed to be a little bit of sun in the morning, but then mostly overcast, which I preferred overcast anyway, because that's just, I think the bite is better when there's overcast. And so did the same thing, covered the same water, went to about some of the same spots, but it was definitely different. Like the fish just weren't in the spots that I thought they would be. But I literally did the same thing. I was just winding and grinding. And so I didn't get my first fish until, might have been like later in the morning. I think it was about 8 o'clock or so. And a good buddy of mine who's also with KBL, he got second, Brian Butterfield. He's a real cool dude. And I see him pedaling over toward me, and he's like hanging his hand off the side, and he's got a fish in his hand. And I was just like, what the heck's he doing? He's coming over to me and he's just like, Susie, I need to borrow your board. I'm like, oh no. So He comes over, and I mean, it was cold. Like I had hand warmers in my pocket and everything just to keep my fingers warm. And so he came over and he's just like, I just threw my board in the water, and that just happened. I'm like, what? And so I just happened to have 2 boards with me because there was a little side pot going for muskie as well, which nobody caught any muskie. So I had an extra catch board with me, and I was just like, well, here, take this one. And like you could see like the relief on his face. He's just like, you've got to be kidding me right now. You just saved my butt.
Does he not know who the tournament director is of the Paddle and Fin Network?
Oh, he does. Yeah. That's why he came over.
Who's going to have all the extras? Susie is going to have it. Yep.
Exactly. But it actually was an even trade after a bit, because later on, I'm fishing, and on day 1, I had actually lost one of the 2 jackhammers that was working. And then I ended up losing the other one. I was like, oh man, like I was really feeling like the one that I had. And so then I switched on to a different color and had the same trailer on, but it wasn't working as good. I wasn't getting bit. Mm-hmm. So I messaged Brian. I was just like, hey, do you happen to have, it was the Clearwater Shad jackhammer, and then also spot remover in 3/8 ounces. So those were the 2. So they're kind of more like for like clear water, which is interesting because you'd think you'd go with either a dark color or like an all white, but just they wanted that natural color. And so he happened to have one with him. And so he came and found me again and gave me the jackhammer. And I think at that time I had 4 fish, and it had been quite a while since I had caught the 4th one. I was just kind of like, oh man, and he had gotten a 20 and a half first thing in the morning. So like, I knew he was going to catch right up to me. And it was about, I want to say it was about 11 or so, or maybe it was 11:30. And I'm fishing. I was just like, man. And I found another buddy of mine, Jacob Crebo, who's actually somewhat local to me here. I asked him if he had any of the other colors of the jackhammer as well, because the one that Brian had was a 1/2 ounce, and I usually don't like fishing with 1/2 ounce, but he had something and that could work. And well, Jacob actually had the 3/8 ounce that I needed, so I traded with him. And not kidding, not even 5 minutes later is when I caught that 17 and a half, and then that's what sealed the deal for me. But I didn't know because the leaderboard had already been turned off. So I was just like, I'm just going to keep fishing. Then I ran into Brian again. I was like, hey, did you get any more upgrades? Because we knew we were neck and neck. And he's like, yeah, I just picked up 2 more upgrades in like the last 5 minutes. I was like, oh, shoot, this is going to be close. It's going to be so close.
So what was the final standings? Was it an inch, half inch, 3/4 inch?
It was 3/4 of an inch.
Outstanding.
It was awesome.
So
very, very awesome.
Any shout outs to any sponsors before we let you go?
Definitely have to say, Bassett Baits, Tim Hamilton. So when I got home, I actually had a little package waiting for me. He got me a t-shirt, and then I have him make me some custom baits, and then I'm going to try out some of his plastics this year as well. So I was super excited to come home to that because he makes a special color for me for out at Banner that's just killer. So I was super happy to see that.
Well, that's outstanding.
And then obviously, Quest Water Sports with the Hobie fishing team, and Catch Outdoors, Dakota Lithium, Kistler Rod, She Angler Customs. Yeah.
I was tickled to death to see that post, and I'm very. I feel humbled that you was able to come on here to the Rusty Hook Kayak Fishing Podcast and tell your story on what happened for day 1 and day 2, and how you was able to put the smack down on them boys.
Lay down that smack down.
So, unfortunately, I have no material to share with you today, but the next time I see you, we will have butterscotch.
Yes. I am looking forward to it.
Yeah, I got with my contact today, and he said that he will make sure that the next time I make a trip that I will be supplied. So
awesome.
Susie, thank you. Keep in boys at PNF in line, and I look forward to seeing you and talking to you again soon in person.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me, John.
Ladies and gentlemen, Susie Roloff, Illinois' finest kayak angler. God bless you.
That's right.
All right, here we're going to take a quick break, and I will be right back. We might make 1 or 2 more crank calls and see who we can get on the show. All right.
This episode is sponsored by our friends at Payne Outdoors. No nonsense, straight talk, outdoor analyst, and custom plastics. Guggen Brothers Custom Tackle, custom made jigs and Ned rigs. Feel free kayaks. Pedal, paddle, or power, there's something for everyone. And Yak Gadget, proudly supplying you with American-made kayak fishing accessories and gear. Now, let's join our host, John Rapp.
All right, we're back. And you know what? I think I put it in the post notes that I was going to talk with Rick Garvalia, because he has got some tips and tricks, some storage tricks. Hopefully, is something that we're going to do here. So let me see if I can pull that up real quick. But hey, just want to while I'm thinking of it here, we got about 10 minutes left. Just when y'all get a chance, shoot over to your podcast networks and add the Rusty Hook Kayak Fishing Podcast. So when you're out running, driving, going on a trip, going to the store, because West Virginia folks, normally it takes a half hour to go somewhere, throw that up and listen to the show. Listen to one of the shows. Garrett Hott, Kyle Struther, Buddy Vance, thanks for tuning in. Storm Carver, Michael Radnar, Jack Tibbins, Johnny Fuchs, I think I'm saying Johnny's name right. But hey, we appreciate y'all tuning in, watching the show. Now let me go dig up my buddy Rick. If you notice what we're doing today, we are just making phone calls via Facebook Messenger. You guys that are out there watching the show, if you're listening, that's how we're doing it today. Making them phone calls, picking up our peeps. guys hanging out with us for almost an hour so far. Rick joined the call. Ricky.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, buddy, turn on that video. Let's get a look at. Oh yeah, he's out in the garage. Hey, man. So, hey, you need to turn down your other phone.
I am. I was trying to do it on my computer and it didn't work out.
Oh,
so
no worries,
my phone
man.
took it instead.
I got you. Hey, so man, I know you've been watching shows that people could hear there. So what tips and tricks do you use that you might share with us after what Joe shared with us earlier for packing and traveling for an overnight stay somewhere? What up, Roland?
Yeah.
Roland Bones is in the house. The Bones Jimenez.
Well, as far as tips, I wasn't sure exactly which way you was going with all that. I think with traveling, there's a lot of things that you want to make sure that you do, and I'm learning to get more organized because traveling with Storm and Phil and them, they know that I pack everything, and that's not because it was planned that way. If anything, it's lack of understanding exactly what you need when you're going to a tournament, and it's different when you're going to Florida versus when you're going, to Stonewall Jackson and what you need to take. So in my notes, just trying to think of a few things, totes. What I've done is in my organization, I've tried to get a different color of tote that I know is my fishing gear or my tools or whatever, and just get specific size totes. So like this smaller container here, that has my tools in it. It has wrenches and screwdrivers and a heat gun and anything that I've learned that I need. You and I used that heat gun not too long ago.
Yes, we did.
And I knew exactly where it was. Now I couldn't find my solder iron for anything, but I was able to find the heat gun. But totes, just different size totes. In the larger tote underneath that, I have extra kayak accessories. You'll learn when you're traveling and getting on the road, you don't want those accessories rattling going down the road. So take the ones you're using off and put in that tote. I lost a Yak Attack rod holder with the extender on it. I lost it down at Murray because I thought, well, I'll put that on and just drive to the ramp. Well, I forgot to lock it down.
Right.
And it just bounced off. So I had an extra with me because I had everything with me.
So those totes, those totes, right? Sorry, those totes. You use those for your tools and your kayak gear. Do you have something special for like your fishing reels and your fishing tools, stuff like that? Or is that part of your tackle?
Well, I have a little smaller one that I put reels in. And one of the things I was wanting to say with traveling is you want to make sure that you have some sort of a reel cover. If you're going a long distance, Six Gill provides these with many of their reels that you buy. I've bought some aftermarket ones to fit some of the smaller reels. You can find those different places. But yeah, I put them in a container like that. I also have small totes. I have one here that has like the reel butter in it.
I got you.
And the Lucas Marine and batteries and pins and markers and a little screwdriver. I even have the right size wrench to take the handle off of a bait caster. And that I have other little totes that I take this one on my kayak for my leaders.
I got you.
And then I have a larger one for all the respooling, the actual respool with.
Yeah, when I went to Tennessee, I did sort of the same thing. I had one tote filled with all of my plastics, my crankbaits, my crankbait tools, like you showed, pliers, tape, glue, all of anything that I would need to make a repair on something or have extra plastics. Yes. And then, of course, I had another one that I had was just with my batteries and my battery chargers.
And I have another small tote that I have all my chargers in. And actually, whenever you talk about packing, I was trying to think of everything you need. I have a tote for my chargers. Yeah. But when you're traveling, just tips for traveling would be, when you get back, get those batteries on charge.
Exactly.
You never know when the power is going to kick off. I think there was an event not too long ago. Some of the guys I was watching, it was Jacob Wheeler and them. Their power was out. My first thought was, how are they charging their boats? And so you gotta take care to do those kind of things and travel with that and know where things are. and take an extra reels or an extra rod, and that's all fine depending on how much space you have. But if you have an extra board, I mean, this our first tournament of the year. One of the new guys was needing a board, and he was willing to get up an extra hour early and meet me because I was going to the ramp to beat the bass boats at the launch.
So Kyle Struther said I took the same heavy clothes to Florida as I did Stonewall. And then Buddy says tots are the way to go. So those are totes,
they just
not
stack.
tots, totes. Yeah.
Yeah, they just stack so well. And I had an oddball blue one that I took my tackle shop with me on. I'm not going to show you that because that side of the garage isn't my wife would not appreciate that. But I had a big blue one because like when we went to Detroit, I had no clue what I was getting into to St. Clair, and I didn't have time to organize everything, and I literally threw every one of those tackle totes in a blue bin that wasn't in my crate, and I rolled with it. I mean, we're sitting out there in the patio outside of Detroit, and I'm trying to figure out whether I'm smallmouth fishing or largemouth fishing.
Yeah.
And I had everything. Now I'm learning what I like to fish the best, and I'm limiting what I'm taking now. But yesterday I went to Stonewall in the rain, and I didn't take any tools with me. But when I took out my fish finders out of the tote, one of my wires had pulled loose, and I didn't have any pliers or anything. And I'm like, well, do I leave one of my fish finders? What do I do? And I just pushed the wire back in there and checked it. It had voltage, and I ran with it.
Yeah.
But normally I would have had the crimpers and the shrink wrap, and I would have been able to do that. But just for a day trip, I didn't take any of that. But that would be my tips. The other thing is to take care of your equipment. Rod socks, Sarah Pendergast, I met her husband at St. Clair a year ago. She's making some neoprene rod socks for $6 each.
Oh, wow.
I think it's Sarah P's rod socks. You might be able to find her on there, but they're really good. I've been using the ones I got on Amazon, the mesh, like electrical conduit stuff, and there's nothing wrong with those other than they pull out on my rod tube whenever I'm taking the rods out, and these have that elastic band that keeps them on.
Right.
And then I mentioned the reel covers. You go on a long trip, either take your reels off and stow them, or wrap them and then pack them in the rod tubes. That would be the other thing. And the last thing would be people. I can't tell you what it's like traveling, as far as traveling tips, having the right people to run ideas by and ask questions with. If you can travel with them, it makes the trip easier. If they're there waiting on you or you're waiting on them, you have someone to talk to while you're there. But it's just a good system to have when you're traveling, is having those people with you.
Well,
that would be my 3 tips.
The other thing it looks like that you do pretty well, and I know color coding is a great way to do things. That way you know where the different colors are for different items that you're packing. But you also had things labeled. So if you can't color code, if you have to buy the same color tote, just throw a label on it real quick, even if it's just with some duct tape and Sharpie. That way. Yeah. But anyway, hey, appreciate you, Greg King. Thanks for watching. I think we're going to wrap up. We've just hit the hour mark. Rick, I appreciate you hanging around with us, man.
No problem. Anytime.
So, God bless you. And we're going to jump off here, and we're going to close up shop and head to the house.
All right. Night.
Let's do some fishing soon, buddy. All right. So, hey, 1 hour of live, raw, and unfiltered Rusty Hook podcast is in the books for Season 2, Episode 19. Hey guys, you 9 viewers, Kyle, I can't fit all rods and reels in my tube. I have to remove reels. A bag with sponges and reel covers help from rash. Nice tip. Buddy, okay, yeah, got your buddy on tots. Travel with wife, 2 dogs, dog crate, 2 kayaks is rough. Talk about playing Tetris. Yeah, Kyle, I would think, man. Roland, thanks, buddy. Appreciate you. Make sure you like, love, and share. I hope you got to catch most of the show. Buddy Vance, thanks for liking the show. We're going to close up shop, guys. So I appreciate everybody watching tonight. And, Rusty Hook Kayak Fiction Podcast. Nothing but love for kayak anglers. Y'all have a great night. Be safe. Weekend's looking good. Let's do some fishing. Make sure you look for the Rusty Hook Kayak Fishing Podcast on your favorite podcast platform. You can find us at Anchor FM/John-Rapp. Go like, subscribe, and follow. And thanks for watching the live stream tonight on YouTube, Twitch, and right here on Facebook.